Hey, folks, this is Brian Blessing. Hope you're enjoying the Hockey Betting Podcast. We have a couple chuckles, try to get you a lot of winners. If you like what you're hearing, hit the subscribe button, give us a review, give us a rating. Most importantly, enjoy the hockey and keep coming back to the Hockey Betting Podcast.
You're listening to the Hockey Betting Podcast, presented by BetCrisCanada.net. This is the Hockey Betting Preview for Friday, July 10th, 2020. And now, live from Las Vegas, the host of the Hockey Betting Podcast, Brian Blessing.
Hello, folks, and welcome to the Hockey Betting Podcast. I think we should build to a crescendo to try to ease Cam into it. I don't want Cam to come out of the gate like Sparky. Here comes Sparky. Sparky! Hey, hockey! I'm ready! Bet.
Yeah, let's go.
Let's do it. It's the Hockey Betting Podcast, okay? With all that's going on, I'll just say this. I like Columbus over Toronto. I like Winnipeg over Calgary. And I like the round-robin games to be higher scoring because there'll be more ice and less intensity. There's your betting portion of the Hockey Betting Podcast. All right. You want to do a little betting talk so we can get into where the hell they're staying, what the hell they're doing, if it's going to happen, which it's going to happen. It's going to happen.
For everyone that ripped the NHL, you know what? These guys actually, their patience plan is good. Look at all the other leagues. Oh, let's try to do it quick. Now where do you stand?
Hockey.
This team's gone. This team's gone. Hockey, we used to laugh at them, Brian. Hey, let's go to the Brass Rail Strip Club and put the schedule together. A couple more shots. They're the ones who are winning in this thing. They've actually, their patience has been good. I give them an A on their report card.
I said this on my Vegas Hockey Outline show yesterday. I said, of all the team sports, I mean, you can sit there if you're a Senators fan or a Red Wings fan, and you're throwing the Garage League thing out there because of the way the lottery fell and all the things and all the franchises that have been scalded over the years and all the rotten things we say about the NHL. We love it. It's passion. It's our favorite sport. But you've got to absolutely step up to the plate and say, of all the team sports, the NHL has done by far and away the best job to potentially get this thing home and cooled.
I'm with you. Like even the NBA, right? You know, Joel Embiid's rolling in there with a spacesuit, like he's afraid to. You see that? What are you, an astronaut? That kind of made me laugh, actually. But at least he's taking it seriously. But yeah, guys bitching. Oh, look at the food. It's like the airplane food. It's like hockey guys just want to go out there and play, and the league's not screwing around. They're like, listen, we're going to do this safe. We're going to do it right, and they take a long time. Yeah, they're the butt of everyone's jokes. Hub Cities, you know, and I'm guilty of it too. We laugh at a lot of the time. But I'll tell you, when things got real and serious, these guys stepped up, Brian, and kudos to them. I hope they're listening because me and you are fair assessors. We'll rip you when you're stupid, but we'll give you kudos when you do a great job, and they've done a great job. Let's hope we can get through this thing smooth.
By the way, it's a joke, okay? For starters, this is a joke. But the reality of it is from the sporting world. Let's take it just to the sporting world. Man, Rudy Gobert's got the biggest pass in mankind's history. I mean, this guy was Typhoid Mary.
No, you're right. Like
nobody talks about Rudy Gobert anymore.
No, Rudy Gobert, he still can't taste and smell. Like he's living in his own personal prison. Don't worry about it, Brian. But the thing is,
he was the one licking microphones.
I know. Trust me. If you're licking Donovan Mitchell, if I'm Donovan Mitchell, I'm literally walking over with a balaclava. I get his alarm system. I go in there, and I don't know what he's at least getting beaten the living pulp out of, because what this guy did was unheard of. It's ridiculous.
Oh, wait a minute! I am literally typing this in here. But what a balaclava?
Yeah, balaclava. It's a mask, you know. Balaclava you wear in winter. It's what those creepers and perverts wear when they go and break into people's houses. The thing, you just got your eyes. You walk in there, you get in the house, and you talk to Gobert and say, "Listen, you know, now look at the world the last 4 months."
Well, then
you licking people.
I can with comfort say I'm glad I didn't know, but I didn't know what a balaclava was. Why did you, Cam?
Because I live in Canada, you moron. You should have had one when you lived in Buffalo. It's cold there too. You never had a balaclava when it's minus 30 outside and whatever. You're freezing. Like, yeah, that's what kids use when you go tobogganing and stuff. A toque's not going to cover your whole face when you're getting pummeled by cold and wind.
Have you ever given enough thought to this, that when we get back to normal, or whatever normal may end up being, honestly, my heart goes out. I think the toughest job in the world moving forward, everyone would be wearing a balaclava. The toughest job in the world would be a bank security guard.
Oh, I'm with you. Like, even with everyone wearing masks now, it's a great time to be a criminal.
Welcome to Wells Fargo,
that's
sir.
what I'm saying. Hey, everybody. Oh, there's a pandemic out there. I'm sorry I got the mask on. Yeah, where's the... Okay. Yeah, that's the thing. You don't even have time to get the dye pack ready or whatever. It's like, here he comes.
Talk about in-game wagering. You'd be sitting there over under 3.5 people have a note in their pocket.
It's so true, man. No, I thought about this, too. I'm like, wow, masks, crime, criminals like that don't have to see the face, facial recognition. Anyway, we better stay on track. We don't want to get producer Mike upset. He said keep it upbeat here. I don't want to get
Yeah, well, I don't think we should ever worry about that. All right, so so here's what's going on.
We got news.
The players are voting basically as we speak. By tonight, Friday night, the ratification could very well come. If you read all the protocols, it's ungodly the amount of stuff that's in there. Edmonton, Toronto are the hubs. And Cam, the crazy thing about this is you take one step forward and two steps back, and the peaks and valleys of emotions with this stuff are just ridiculous. It's like, what was it, like early in the week? You're kidding. Edmonton, a hospital, has a full COVID outbreak with 4 people passing away, 20 patients, 15 staffers in the hub city. Now you're waiting for the NHL to say, well, Edmonton, it was nice to know you. And then things are spiking again, and whatever. But they've got their bubble. Well, the bubble better not burst.
Yeah, I'm with you there. But yeah, now we got some hotel information and stuff. I just wanted to throw this out there for you because Hotel X, first of all, I thought that was undecided. And Mike, who doesn't even live near me, found out that there is a hotel.
Actually called Hotel X.
Hello, where are you staying? Hotel X. It sounds like I got my underground poker and blackjack games there at Hotel X. Yeah, anyway,
who's in the room next to you? Boris and Natasha?
Yeah, exactly. Boris. He's got a prosthetic leg. Where are my monies? Anyway, yeah. Did you bring the rubles? I'll tell you, Brian, listen to this one. So they got a 40-acre campus there at Hotel X in Toronto. It's on the Canadian National Exhibition Grounds for people that don't know and listening. Just Brian and I have seen some concerts there. It's a big park. So there's lots of room there, tons of space. But the thing that's interesting to me is they're the 4 teams that get that have already qualified, but they added Pittsburgh. So you got Boston, Tampa, Washington, Philadelphia, and Pittsburgh there. Why the hell are the Penguins there? Aren't they playing Montreal in the first round?
Well, yeah.
I guess you just throw an extra team and they won. Like, it's kind of different. But anyway.
Well, so if Montreal pulls off the upset, they got to move?
Yeah. That's kind of the point. So they're basically telling you, like, Montreal's done, right? Like, let's just put Pittsburgh there. Anyway.
Did you ever think we'd be, breaking this down by hotel?
No, I did not.
Yeah. Hotels and hockey stories, there are plenty. Mike Robitaille used to do the Sabres games with him. The guy's just
love Mike Robitaille. Yancey's Fancies Cheese, his local commercials. He's my guy.
We would do this stuff on the broadcast. And as stupid as we are, believe me, this thing was a gong show. He had so much but he used to tell a story. And I can see these guys at Hotel X. Some of the best eaten. Mike Robitaille, some of the best food you ever had is when you're out with the boys after a game and you get back to the room at like 2 a.m. and you'd be walking down the long hallway to your room, and he said, and people would, outside their door, they'd have the room service tray. He said, "Oh, you could get a half a sandwich on this guy's plate." He said,
"Brian, I don't want to tell you, but I've been that guy in Vegas before. I've been that guy in Vegas."
He said it would take me 15 minutes to get to my room because I just kept stopping eating off all the
I love this guy even more. I thought that was my move. I thought I was the only guy insane enough to do it. I remember one time, this guy's leaving like a huge croissant sandwich. I'm like, you didn't touch it. Wasted at 4 o'clock in the morning. Thank you.
It's like George Costanza eating the eclair out of the garbage can.
Exactly. I got no problem with that stuff. I love food.
So these guys at least are good. We know they're going to eat good.
They are. They're going to eat really well.
What's the other one?
Okay, I'll roll these down for you. So the first Hotel X, Boston, Tampa, Washington, Philly, Pittsburgh. Next, we go to the oldest and most historic hotel in Toronto. Actually, my mom worked there. It was it's like literally like a beautiful landmark, the Royal York Hotel in downtown Toronto, right down the street from the Hockey Hall of Fame. Great area. We got Carolina, the Islanders, the Leafs, Columbus, Florida, the Rangers, and the Montreal Canadiens. So all teams there, minus the Pittsburgh Penguins, are at the Royal York.
Got a great Royal York story.
I'm listening. Wait, you took some food off the floor there?
No.
That was Mike Robitaille.
No, the Breeders' Cup.
Yes.
Was at Woodbine.
Correct.
And it's a remarkable facility. And I'm trying to, was it 97? Does that sound about right? I think it was 1997.
A good guess. I don't know off the top of my head, so I'm just trusting you.
And so, but anyway, so we stayed there. And so we're going to the track every morning, for all the workouts and stuff. Well, Tom Durkin is my favorite announcer.
Oh, he's awesome.
In any sport. I mean, he's a great guy. I had the good fortune to meet him several times and spent a couple races in the broadcast booth with him down at Gulfstream Park one summer. But this guy's just incredible announcer. He just grabs you at the right point of the race. It's like he pulls you in, like you feel like you're on the horse.
Mm-hmm.
He was such a great announcer. Well, he calls the Breeders' Cup. And anyway, Tom Durkin was never adverse to having a libation. But he would do this every year for the Breeders' Cup. He would stop drinking for a month. Okay?
Yep.
He'd shut it down. He'd stop drinking for a month. And then the night after the Breeders' Cup, look the hell out.
I like that. I like this guy's style.
So he had like a suite at the Royal York. So we'd be down in the lobby at 5:30 in the morning, 6 in the morning, get ready to go to the track. And it happened 3 days. Like, ding, the elevator door opens. Tom Durkin comes out down into the lobby in a robe.
That's awesome.
He goes to the gift shop, gets a paper and a coffee or whatever, back to the hotel, ding, and he's gone. He's up there memorizing the lineups and all the other. But I did not go to the bash that night. But apparently, the Royal York had a hell of a party the night the Breeders' Cup was over.
No, that's cool. I like that. I don't want to sound like Al Bundy, 4 touchdowns in one game. But I remember when I was older and partying and my parents went away all the time. I did the same thing like my final year in hockey. I'm like, I'm going to get off the sauce and, smoking and all sorts of stuff for a while. I played really, really well, and I got called up to the AAA team and we won the All-Ontario Championship, Brian. True story. So, yeah, it could really work for you. And I agree. The same thing. Once that season was over and I was going nowhere, I just turned into an absolute piss tank and gambling machine, as you already know.
Hey, just for one, because we're goofballs, just to finish the story, it's a great story. And I know it's a podcast, and I guess we could say whatever we want, but I won't. But anyway, so Tom Durkin's calling the races, the Breeders' Cup. And the announcement, so when a guy's calling a horse race, basically the microphone is engaged by a foot pedal, right? These guys step on the foot pedal, and that engages the mic. So the mic isn't working. It's literally the horses are walking up to the starting gate at Woodbine, right? And the guy's on his hands and knees down on the floor, right, desperately, unplugging, replacing the foot pedal, trying to get the thing to work. And Durkin's standing there, and I know the words. I'm not going to say them. That this blah, beep, 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 beep. It's just letting them all rip. And literally the guy goes, good, as like the next to last horse is going in the gate. And Durkin's like, beep, 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 beep. And the guy goes, good. He goes, the Breeders' Cup has come to Canada.
True pro. Hey, Brian, I got to tell you something, though. Like, just looking at this stuff, they didn't really listen to what I'm saying. And this is a problem that I have. So why would the Western Conference teams, so say Edmonton, I'll go through the whole list. But so the first batch of teams are at the JW Marriott. So these are the other guys: St. Louis, Colorado, Vegas, Dallas, Edmonton, and Nashville. Didn't we not talk about you don't want to be the team in the hotel thinking I could just go to my house that's 5 minutes away? Like, why are the Toronto teams, why isn't the East in Edmonton?
I get it, Cam, that
it's not a big deal because there's no fans, but I think it kind of is a big deal because of I don't want to be playing a team in my host city when I think about I know people there. There's more temptation that way.
I almost think it's a negative for Edmonton and Toronto.
I agree.
I think it's a negative for the Oilers at least. So my co-host Stevie Slabshot said, "Oh, there would be pressure on them." I don't know about the pressure so much. I think the distraction is looking out the window, and knowing my family's right out there.
Correct. I couldn't agree more. Like the temptation just to leave the bubble would be way more intensive with one of those teams. We've discussed that before. I do believe that. But that being said, the league basically rolled the dice here and said the pros outweigh the cons. It's like, look, it's less travel. Like, okay, if the Leafs or the Oilers or the Leafs and the Oilers end up in the semis and they end up all playing at Edmonton, the league will just deal with it and say, listen, what do you want from us? It's a pandemic. You know? Exactly, yeah.
So I think it was just that they're rational. But the biggest reason, I mean, all sports camp, what's the biggest determining factor? Money.
Yeah. Right?
Oh,
everything comes down to money.
Money and television.
Yes.
So the reason that, okay, for argument's sake, I'll use the Golden Knights as an example, that the Western Conference goes east. You don't want the West Coast teams, they'd have to be playing at 10 at night, start time in the East, for the game to be on in prime time in the West. They don't want to be you're playing a 7 o'clock Eastern game, but the game's on at 4 in the afternoon out west, and people are still working. So TV basically is what ruled the day here. It's that simple. It's it. TV start times. And then what they did, I think, is going to work. We're saying, is it going to be 2 rinks? And the answer is no. And because we were saying you'd have to play, if you had 2 rinks, you'd play a round-robin game, a playoff game at the other rink in the afternoon, and then a night playoff game. They're using the same rink for 3 games. So if that being the case, they did the absolute right thing. The morning game is a best-of-5 play-in game. And should it go to double or triple overtime, at least the team that's in the get-out game sits in their hotel, and, okay, that game finally ends. They know the middle game's a round-robin game that's being played with regular season rules. They can then say to the team in their hotel, your game that was supposed to start at 7 is starting at 8:22. Yeah. So they know, because you don't want them going to the arena kicking a soccer ball in the concourse for 2.5 hours.
Exactly. Excellent point by you. So, I think everything's going to make sense. And, these guys thought about everything. They've done a good job, and we're going to give them a pat on the back, Barry Horowitz style. Like, they deserve it. They've done great. And I'm just praying, Brian, we get through this thing. It would be absolutely amazing if, we can keep cases to a minimum. It's kind of like, thing is, it's tough, though, individual sports compared to hockey. But, like, the PGA Tour has done a great job. A guy's got it. He's gone. You got to pass some tests before you come back. You still have full field events. The tour, like, it's rolling on, and they're not screwing around. No fans at this event. They thought it would be cool. No, we're gonna wait and see things to get better, things to get safe. You know what I mean? In hockey, I think they've done their due diligence. They have a plan together, and I'm praying it gets executed.
Was the Barry Horowitz reference, was that wrestling?
Yeah, Barry Horowitz. Remember, he did a good thing. He gave himself a pat on the back all the time. That was his move. He'd do something pokey in the eyes. He'd pat himself on the back. Good for you, Barry. Sorry, I'm an idiot, Brian.
No, I'm learning.
That's a good stuff. So for all you guys out there, who the hell's Barry Horowitz? Yeah, he's a jobber wrestler that used to pat himself on the back.
I was going to ask you. I'm learning things today. I was going to say, is Barry Horowitz the wrestler? Does he wear a balaclava?
I can't believe you never heard that balaclava term before, but hey, you learn something new every day, Brian.
No,
you're right though. Great in pandemics, horrible for security guards and banks.
In terms of the way the games are going to be played, Cam. Well, first of all, training camp. the one thing, though, did you see the time frames of this? Like, they put these dates out. Like, they ain't dicking around.
No, they're not. And
the qualifying, they're going to be playing. They might be doing this 3 games in 4 days.
Yeah, I got no problem with it. You know what I mean? It's like
qualifying rounds. This is from Chris Johnston.
Mm-hmm.
The qualifying rounds are going to take 10 days. That's the best of 5 in the round robin. 10 days. And then the first 3 rounds are fewer than 2 weeks, 14 days. And the Stanley Cup final, they say, will be fewer than 13 days. And they've got it all laid out. Start of next year, December 1. So all that talk of the Winter Classic out the window. Yeah. They're like, no, they are desperate.
Screw the Winter Classic. Screw the Winter Classic. See, this is what we're talking about, and you got it right. And that's the thing about hockey that I like more than the other sports is the NBA, oh, they're bitching and complaining. Oh, yeah, you guys play what? Have a week between games? Like, get real. These guys are murdering each other, and they play like they get 1 day off. Like, come on, man. That's the thing. These guys are tough. They get it. And you know what? I got to be honest with you. I really couldn't care less about the Winter Classic struggling anyway. They've gone too far with all this, the arena stuff and putting it here and there. It was a great novelty a long time ago. Now it's just meh. I really don't care. And I think hockey fans don't care. They just want to see regular games and great games and a Stanley Cup final that's intense. And I think it can be. So all the other stuff really doesn't matter right now, Brian. I got to give them kudos. I know it's going to be tough. It's going to be a war of attrition, which it always is. But I'll tell you, I love it. And that's what's going to separate the men from the boys, baby. Well, how many games can you play? Let's do it.
All right, there's a glasses half full scenario, glasses half empty scenario. But again, to give kudos to the league and the players, this is borderline remarkable. I think since we last convened doing this, that the good thing is they had been talking for quite a while. But historically, labor peace in the NHL, it was an automatic lockout. They were going whole hog at not having any such problems. Well, it's remarkable that in a pandemic, neither side really tried to put the Sasquatch foot down here. They literally worked together to get a CBA that gives them labor peace through the 25-26 season with new TV deal pending. And the players got the Olympics. But I will say this, though. This is I was right then. I'm right now. I used to argue. Bill Foley would come in the studio, and I'd argue with him. You know, he's an owner, and his players are his assets. But, I mean, I was the only one. And none of the people, oh, no, it messes up the NHL season. I said, blow it out your ass. Listen to me. All right? The Olympics is a big deal. You know, Austin Matthews, Jack Eichel want their day in the sun to play for America. Right? Connor McDavid wants to put the Maple Leaf jersey on, right? You want for the players, the Olympics was a big deal. So don't tell me the Olympics is going to be a big deal if you thumb your nose at it and don't go to South Korea, but then you come back because you want to go to China and it's all about dollars. You're talking out of both sides of your mouth. It's a bunch of hooey. You don't get lifelong memories from some garbage all-star game. I mean, I was out at a bar at 4:30 in the morning with 7 guys, and we're going bananas when TJ Oshie is scoring on the breakaways against Russia in the Olympics. You get lifelong hockey memories from the Olympics. It's a big deal.
It's true. I agree with you 100%.
They're going back to it. So the players got the Olympics again. But the irony of all places, yeah, we great. We got the Olympics. Where are you going? Well, we're going to China.
Yeah.
Okay, but
yeah,
you say so. But they got labor peace. They got a CBA done.
That's the thing
during this thing.
Think about it. Baseball ruined themselves this year. They've ruined themselves for the future. The way the owners played hardball with the players and made them out. They negotiated in bad faith. Hockey actually looked at it and said, "Listen, there's probably some of you rich cats that piss me off, and I don't like you. But for the sake of the sport, we're going to deal with it. We're going to work together, and we're going to put our differences aside for the greatness of the game in the now and the future." They did. Another positive for them. And when you look at the other sports, a sport like baseball is on life support right now because the owners are greedy pricks and the players, they screwed these guys. It's the bottom line right from the start. They had no intention of playing a full season, and now look what you get. You're going to have problems for a long time. Hockey figured it out, man.
All right, now, there's the glasses half full.
Yes.
Good for them. The thing that is, it's there. And it's a hidden little paragraph. They've got the opt-out clause for guys that say, we're not playing. But there was also a paragraph in there that said, if in the course of the opt-out clause that a team or numerous teams, that it would impact the integrity of the tournament, they can shut it down again.
Yes.
So when they sign this thing, the players, right, they got 72 hours to say, I'm not playing. And no repercussions, no rationale, you just say, I'm not playing. And we talk about the hockey culture, and I've got your back, and it is great. But I can't see any guy, any organization, and shame on them if they ever did, if any player said, I'm not doing this. My wife just had a baby. She's about to have a baby. My wife has asthma. My parents have diabetes. Any player that says, I'm not doing this, I'm not if you're a UFA, Kim, if you're a UFA and you get hurt now and the season's starting December 1st, who the hell's going to sign you?
Exactly. No, it's a good point, Brian.
So UFAs, guys on the back end of their career, and what if a big name or two or a handful of name players, big name players say, I'm not comfortable. I don't feel comfortable going out and going up there for wherever for 5 weeks and run the risk of getting sick. And I that is the most intriguing thing to me. And we know hockey and hockey culture, and they got it done, the CBA and all that good stuff. But I cannot wait to see how many say, I can't do it. It's a realistic possibility, Cam.
It is, but Brian, this is the thing that comes in the new world, right? For all these other things to have to get right, nothing is going to be perfect. It's about as perfect as you can get. There's going to be flaws everywhere. The National Football League right now, the players are laughing at their safety protocol. Oh, yeah, we're going to do this, so we can't exchange jerseys, but we can kill each other and spit on each other and sweat on each other all day. Like, get bent. College football, Ivy League, gone. Big Ten, we're only playing conference games. It's like, I got to be honest with you, I'm looking at hockey right now going, wow, you guys have actually figured it out. It's not a perfect system. It's about as good as it's going to get, buddy, and you know that.
All right, man. I mean, all I know is
no. You're right. Like I'm just saying.
Well, here, I'll rattle them off: Taylor Hall, Alex Pietrangelo, Braden Holtby, Torrey Krug, Tyson Barrie, Barkstrom, Leonard sitting on a payday.
Yeah, he is.
He's been with Vegas for like a cup of coffee.
I know, since COVID-19. He basically signed right when it happened.
He's sitting on a payday. Are some of the what if some of the list of there's 20 quality high-end UFAs? What if their agents say to them, don't go? What if you get hurt? No one's going to hold it against you. It's a pandemic. This is a business decision.
Yeah.
You go get hurt, right? No one's going to sign you to I don't know about long-term contracts now anyway, moving forward. But even if they say the 7-year deals are gone, but no one's going to give you 3 years and $21 million if you blow a knee out in this thing. And the season starts December 1st.
No, you're right, Brian. I know.
I bet you some big name UFA say not doing it.
That's fine. And that's the decision that they have to make. The bottom line is this. I look at it, winning the Stanley Cup the old way or winning it the new way. I'd find this way, the new way. I look at the exact same thing. Some people will say it's even harder. You're in neutral site places. It's nuts. You need to be mentally tougher. I get it. If you opt out, that's your business. Hey, if my wife was pregnant with my first kid, and my dad's got COPD and I have asthma or whatever, you know what I mean? I'm dealing with something in the family. One of the kids is sick. Yeah. And you know what? I respect you for that. That is your decision. These are the risks you're going to have to take. And I think a lot of these guys are going to go, you know what? I'm just going to go in there, play my ass off, get things done, and that contract will come. But I have no problem if somebody steps out for a good reason.
Listen, I'm not a soft touch. I'm not saying that.
No, you're not. You're actually more hard than me. I'm usually more. The softer spread. Yeah.
I mean, if a coach deserves to get fired, fire his ass. I mean, But the one thing I'm at least more cognizant of that I never was before was that, and on trade deadline day, and something like this, we move these guys around like they're chess pieces.
We do.
They're people that have families and. Okay, a trade deadline day, part of me is like, I consider that, and you can feel for it. But there's a lot of zeros after, on the back end of their paycheck.
Correct.
You knew what you were getting yourself into.
Exactly.
Well, that's fine on trade deadline day. This is a global pandemic.
I agree, Brian. I agree with everything you're saying. I agree with everything you're saying. That's why it's up to the person, man. Like you know what I mean? Like some guys are going to say yay. I'd say most. Some guys are going to say nay. That's their prerogative. They might get a little bit jobbed in their next deal. That's life. You know, who knows? Like I'm just saying. You know, I got a lot of respect for these guys because out of all the people that have been involved, all the sports, I've heard the least bitching from these guys from any league. You know what I mean? They got things done.
I haven't heard from them.
That's what I like. I like it. It's good.
I'm telling you. I don't know if the NHL hired Buck Henry, but literally, every one of these, it's like an episode of Get Smart. Every one of these guys has the cone of silence in their living room.
Right, but it's working. Oh, blah, 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 all these other guys, man, bitching, you know what I mean? Yeah, life during a pandemic, it blows. But no, these guys have been cool. They have a positive attitude, and I'll tell you one thing. To win the Stanley Cup, the team with the best attitude who actually wants to be there, it's not just about skill anymore, and it's about who's not getting sick and who has the positive attitude. That's who's going to win the Cup. Because if you just keep in bitching, you're done.
You have a positive attitude.
I do. I actually do have a positive attitude today.
You do? Actually, yeah. No, normally I get a list of about 7 calamities before we start. You just...
Yeah, you know what? Brian, I'm just so used to things now. Like when I bet I pounded a horse, the jockey, veered into the rail. The horse collapsed. He did a somersault over the rail, and the old me would have punched a hole through the wall because I would have won like $400. Now I'm like, meh, just seems to be the way it goes. And you're going to have your good days. You're going to have your bad days, right? I'd like Colin Morikawa to win the golf tournament, though.
Well, you want a bad day? I mean, our producer Mike's like, "Come on, the meeting, let's go." But like, well, I woke up in the middle of the night and I said, I gotta look, because last week I watched the Formula One race of all things.
Oh yeah,
and I looked up the guy. When's next week? And because I bet this kid at 30-1 to win the Formula One race, and what's his name here, real quick? Albon. All right,
nice.
The Red Bull driver, 30-1. He could have won the race last week, and Hamilton spun him out. Anyway, so now I got this bet. I think I'm sitting on something here. I get a little fun, and I see the guy 2 a.m, Formula One, because they're racing at the same track. I wake up in the middle of the night and I record it. I start watching the thing, and it's like it's practice.
Yeah. It's practice story, Brian.
It's practice for the Sunday morning.
I know it's. I was watching it too. I'm like, ooh, what a race! I'm like, I saw the font. Practice.
I'm thinking it's the race, and like so now. Right now, I'm like yawning, and I'm like, yeah, well, I got what'd you do last night? Well, about 3 a.m. I watched Formula One practice.
Practice race. Can't bet on it. Too bad.
But by the way, the Albon kid, so during the practice, at least I went back to bed knowing he had the fastest practice times, too.
Yeah,
he's 30-1.
Yeah, you're holding a good ticket, hopefully, right?
We'll see. Hey, but listen, this is always fun, the Hockey Betting Podcast, and we touch on all things. We touch on a lot of things. We learned about masks. We learned about wrestling.
Yeah, balaclavas.
We learned about hotels.
Stealing people's hotels food when you're wasted at 4:00 in the morning, like Mike Robitaille. I love this guy now. Now, Brian, you got to introduce me to him because that's my type of guy. Stealing people's food outside their door. That's
not stealing if they discard it.
No. I agree. It's discarded, and if you're staying at a nice place, it's probably you could trust these people.
But the thing that was beautiful about it, it wasn't just that he was doing it, but that he was like analyzing it, like someone had a club sandwich and there was just like a half of the little triangle of a piece, but he'd sit there and analyze. Oh, look, yeah, good. There's a little piece of bacon in there.
Yeah.
Oh, a piece of cheese.
That's right. No teeth marks. If there's no teeth marks, I'm in.
Oh, man. All right. There you go. Another one's in a cookie jar. It's the Hockey Betting Podcast, Cammy. Have a good weekend.
You too, buddy. Let's hit some winners.
Hey, folks, this is Brian Blessing. Hope you're enjoying the Hockey Betting Podcast. We have a couple chuckles, try to get you a lot of winners. Hey, we hope you like what you're hearing. And if you do, hit the subscribe button and give us a review, give us a rating. Most importantly, enjoy the hockey and keep coming back to the Hockey Betting Podcast.
The handicapping and sports odds information contained on this podcast is for entertainment purposes only. Please confirm the wagering regulations in your jurisdiction, as they vary from state to state, province to province, and country to country. Using this information to contravene any law or statute is prohibited. The podcast is not associated with, nor is it endorsed by any professional or collegiate league, association, or team. This podcast does not target and is not intended for an audience under the age of 18. If you think that you have a gambling addiction, stop this podcast now and please seek help.
Gambling and betting on sports is a form of entertainment and should be about having a good time. But when done excessively, it may negatively affect other areas of a person's life, such as their physical and mental health, school or work performance, finances, and or interpersonal relationships. At BetCrisCanada.net and the Hockey Betting Podcast, we're concerned about the addiction that gambling may cause, and for this reason, we encourage everyone to practice responsible gambling, an approach to gambling that helps you ensure that it remains an enjoyable activity. Here are the main principles of responsible gambling. Don't think of gambling as a way to make money. Always gamble with money that you can afford to lose. Set limits and stick to them. Never chase losses. Don't gamble when you're depressed or upset, and create a healthy balance. Always be aware of how much time you spend gambling or thinking about gambling, and do not allow gambling to cause you to miss out on time with family and friends or time spent on other activities you enjoy. By following these guidelines, gambling can be a good time and great entertainment. If you feel at any time that your gambling is taking away from important areas of your life, is causing you stress or depression, or is leading to financial losses that are beyond your control, please reach out for help. Learn more at responsiblegambling.org.